Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
Hey Chris, this is Eric from the chat room. I've been having some problems with my desktop. It has Windows XP Home, and the processor speed has dropped from 1.99 gigahertz down to 1.14, I think. And I was just wondering if you knew what was up with that. So yeah, thanks.
All right. Eric was responding to a question that I threw out there earlier last week, saying if I threw out my toll-free number, would anybody call? And of course he did. 888-Pirillo, 888-7474556. That's currently not connected to any physical line, but it's connected to a virtual line, which means you could call, leave a message, and it would come in as a attachment in my email, thanks to Vonage. So the question is what happened to the processor speed? Well, I think the good news is likely that this is by design. It's not that the processor is failing by any stretch of the imagination. If it's an Intel processor, then it is likely related to speed step technology. And years ago, when you had a processor that was, say, well, a gigahertz, and it shipped inside the computer, it would stay at a gigahertz. Well, this was fine on a desktop because you were constantly plugged into a wall. You didn't need your processor to do much other than what it did. But in a mobile setting, a laptop, for instance, you would at times want the processor to be more powerful, and in times when you were on the road, you'd want to save as much power as you could, so you'd want it to be less powerful. My guess, and this is just a complete shot in the dark, is that it's related to speed step technology in relation to an Intel processor, and if it was an AMD processor, the equivalent would be cool and quiet. So in conjunction with software, the processor can typically run faster when it's plugged into AC or needs to do more, like crunching video or doing something very, very resource intensive. And then, of course, when it's not doing anything at all, the speed step software, the cool and quiet software, will throttle down the speed or the clock speed of the processor accordingly so it takes less battery. So it's more important to have this kind of feature and functionality in relation to a mobile computer than it does a desktop computer. That is, again, my guess. Someone had mentioned in there that it may be a failing BIOS. I'm not inclined to really believe that as much as the speed step technology. XP does need third-party software, whether that's available from your manufacturer, in some cases from the creator of the motherboard. Windows Vista, on the other hand, has the speed step and cool and quiet features and functionality built right into it. In the Vista environment, you would go into the power management options and choose the balanced mode, which means that it would the processor would perform at its peak levels when it was doing very, very system-intensive things. Again, this is usually related to media or compressing files or doing something that's just taking a lot of processing power. And then, of course, when it's not doing that, it's not running at its full clock speed. Your computer still runs as fast as it needs to go, but you're not wasting as much power. And wasting power on a desktop machine is almost as important as wasting power on a laptop. But, of course, with a desktop, you don't have to worry about battery life, and that's the whole idea behind speed step or cool and quiet technology in general. So you're fine. My suggestion, if you're not sure where to configure it, or if you don't have third-party management software for your speed stepping or cool and quiet, I'd suggest grabbing it either from AMD's site or Intel's site or the manufacturer of your computer. They've likely got something in between. It's certain that I've certainly appreciated over the years, especially having various laptops and trying to get as much battery life out of humanly possible. Now see that they throw in the website there because they know that I'm winding the question down, and usually when I wind the question down, I tell people that if they've got any other remarks and software that they might use to optimize processor speed for mobile and stuff, I tell them to leave a comment or a remark, and then I tell them that we're chatting live 24 hours a day at, you say it.
Live.pirillo.com.
Okay, now say it with authority.
Live.pirillo.com.